So what's happening in your life right now that maybe feels like a curve? I mean, when you do find the relationship that really feels good, you still have ups and downs in it, right? When you find the job that really feels connected, things happen. You may have gotten laid off, and there's another place where you get to explore the more of you that wants to be in your work. And how do you really continue to let people support you in your journey? Because the last part of being on this road, I want to always call this the road less traveled, but on the long and winding road, is how are you noticing that the universe is plotting for your good? I want you guys to really be engaged here, so we're going to do an affirmation. The universe always plots for my good. And are we noticing the ways that the universe is plotting for your good? One of my favorite parts of being a minister at this church and at other churches where I've taught is teaching classes. Because I get to know each of you and I get to hear your stories, and we come together, and at the beginning of this journey, people always come in and they've got the deal, they've got the whip, and they're saying, life is hard, I don't have enough money, relationships are tough, everything's going bad in my life. And there was a gentleman that came in that he and his wife want to go to Italy. And they were talking about Italy, and they were excited about Italy, but then he says, but you know, I've got this roof that has to go on the top of my house. And he says, and it needs to be replaced. And he said, like so many of us say, it's always something. You know, I want to go to Italy, but I got to fix this roof. So we just love people where they are, because that's how we do here at Unity. We don't tell them anything's wrong with them. We don't sit there with a still face. We engage with them. We say, God, I really hear you want to go to Italy. And I hear that you also need a new roof, but I really hear that you really want to go to Italy. So we're going to encourage you to know where you're heading, which for them was Italy. So he comes in the next day and he said, and you know, the thing is, I've been worried about money most of my life. He said, okay, you come on back next week. So we came back the next week, and they went into an Italian shop, they bought some food, they bought some books, they're starting to learn Italian, and they're engaging in wanting to go to Italy. They know where they're heading. The next week he came in and he said, you know, it always starts like this. You won't believe what happened every single time. He said, we were out walking our dog, and our dog started playing around with another dog. Now, what do you think the profession of the owner of the other dog was? Roofing. Absolutely. And they start talking about roofing. And this guy says, oh yeah, I've been in the roofing business forever. And he said, let me come over and look at your roof. So he came over and he said, you know, because the gentleman in the class thought it was $4,400, and it was going to take all their Italian money. And they worked it out where the cost of replacing the roof was a fraction. It was about a fourth of what they thought it was going to be through meeting this guy and the guy telling him about what the cost of the roof would be. So again, are we noticing the ways this was through letting go, walking his dog, the dog meeting the dog, and then the dog's owner being in the roofing business? Who puts this stuff together? You know, how do you figure this out? His thing was not about worrying about his roof. His thing was getting excited about going to Italy. Our class bought Rex and Louise Heading. They're not here. They were celebrating their 56th wedding anniversary, and we bought them a gondola ride on Brush Creek. Now, it's not Venice, but it gives them the idea of being in Italy. So do you see what's going on here? This is the deal that if we know where we're heading, if we're heading for joy, if we're heading for inspiration, if we're heading for our health, if we're heading for healthy relationship, if we're heading for passionate purpose in your work, if you have a project that you're excited about, never, ever, ever, ever give up. Just keep going for passion and inspiration. Your dogs will figure out the rest, right? I mean, this isn't about having to micromanage the world. Your only thing is to stay on your road, your long and winding road. I think it's very interesting to note that this song was the last song that the Beatles wrote as a quartet. It was the last song they performed together, and it was their last song that was a hit for them as the Beatles. After this song, they all went off on their own way, their own long and winding road, their own way of seeing the musician and the gift that they were as individuals. And they all went on doing very well on their long and winding road. So your long and winding road, dear friends, is your road. It's your gift. It's your contribution to the way this world works. That your job is to know where you're heading and let it be about passion, not about migraine headaches, right? To navigate these curves and turns and know that it's a natural part of life to deal with confusion and disappointment and these detour signs of life. But to stay with your inspiration and knowing that things will appear beyond what you can make up because the universe plots for your good. And the joy and the surprises that come as you keep going around these curves and you see the waterfalls and you see the wonderful ways that life is working. And finally, that you really let it be the magical journey, a way that life is going to show you things that you couldn't have thought up here because you don't know yet what's going on. The road to Hana has 620 curves. And I know that your life's had way more than that, and you've navigated them all well. So focus on something and look at something that you have overcome and you have done well. Because this long and winding road that leads to your door is the door to your soul. And I invite us all to feel that sense and know that spiritual responsibility it is for you to be led to your door. And that the door to your soul, not only do you need to open it and walk through it, but you need to never, ever, ever, ever give up. Namaste.